I think the simplest thing is that after everyone speaks, we say, we're here for you.
And at first I was like, I don't know what that even is. And I came, and it's such an important part of my day now.
I never really tried the Frenchwood soup before Soup Troupe. It really opened my eyes to a whole new part of the Frenchwood's dining hall.
Soup Troupe is really inclusive, and Soup Troupe is a place where everybody can just come and talk about soup when it's good, and also complain about soup when it's bad, because we all deserve a good bowl of soup in our lives.
Well, I never thought that I could ever meet a group of people so welcoming and kind and loving.
I never have soup other than Frenchwoods.
We know the kitchen staff just works so hard making these delicious soups for us every day. And just Soup Troupe is just the way we want to thank them and show that they're truly appreciated.
Being able to talk amongst my peers here at Frenchwoods about the daily soups has really enhanced my daily life.
Soup Troupe has really brought me and Ray close together. Yes. I don't think we would have been this close if it hadn't been for the soup that we get every day.
It's really helpful.
We're here for you.
I felt like I was the only one who could express my love for soup in such a dynamic way.
Thank you, Soup Troupe.
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 Thank you, Soup Troupe. Thank you, Frenchwoods. Hey, Soup Troupe, it's Cole. One of your founders. I wanted to thank Soup Troupe for being such an inclusive space. I love you all. Keep enjoying soup and send me a mushroom and brie.
Hello, everybody. I'm Danny.
I'm Sophie.
And welcome to Soup Troupe
Online.
Hey, you may notice we don't have other Danny here today. Something came up last minute, but we are so very excited to welcome Soup Troupe veteran Sophie Smith-Brody. She was at every Soup Troupe meeting, including our very first one in 2017 up at Frenchwoods. Sophie, to you.
Soup Troupe has been such a wonderful part of my life. I cannot imagine my life without it. So I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you for having me, Danny. Before we start, I just want to take a little quick moment to remind you all and implore you all to exercise your right to vote. Voting day is November 3rd. Use your right. You have it. Go out. Do it. Love y'all.
Absolutely. We have two very special guests here today from the Broadways. We are so very excited to welcome our first one. She was on Broadway at the brisk year of 2012 in Godspell 2032, and then originated roles in Broadway companies such as A Christmas Story and Lydia in Miss Doubtfire recently, and she was also in the Broadway company of Matilda. I've had the privilege of working with her at 54 Below on Hide and Seek, which was the musical that I wrote, and we were so honored to do a reading there. And without further ado, welcome Analise Scarpaci.
Hi.
Welcome, Analise.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Thanks for being here. So the first question that we ask every guest, what is your favorite soup memory?
Oh boy. Well, when I was really young, I used to have I'm come from a very large Italian American family, and we have this amazing soup that's called rice and tomatoes, and it is literally what it is, rice and tomatoes. And it is the most delicious thing in the entire world, and my grandmother used to make it for me all the time, and my mom makes it for me, and it really is the most amazing soup ever. And yeah, I actually lost a tooth while I was eating the soup, so that's a fun fact.
Wow,
that's a good memory.
That was
memory.
So we know that you are Lydia in Miss Doubtfire on Broadway. So we were wondering a couple of things. What is the main difference between the movie and the musical? And how would you describe the movie as a soup? And how would you describe the musical as a soup?
Okay, so the difference between the movie and the musical is basically the movie takes place in the 90s. Here on Broadway, real time, 2020, well, not 2020 but it's current time. We all have phones. We have there's a number in which Daniel, who plays my dad, Rob McClure's character, he tries to figure out how to cook by talking to Siri, and Siri teaches him how to cook. So instead of like in the movie Robin Williams, he had the TV and like Julia Child videos. But all of your favorite parts of the movie are still incorporated in the musical. It's just we're obviously newer times, up to date with the current lingo, and yeah. And let me think of as a soup. So the movie, I think the movie would be like a plain chicken soup, and then I think the musical is definitely a minestrone, which is a little spicy.
Absolutely, yeah. There is a stark difference between those two soups. So I see what you're saying.
Definitely. So you've been on Broadway since you were very young, from Godspell 2032 in 2012 to A Christmas Story to Matilda. Are there any soups that you grew up with while performing in any of these shows?
Yeah, definitely the rice and tomato soup, minestrone, chicken soup. Yeah, chicken soup was a big one because my mom and I would be at our apartment in the city, and it was just like a fast thing to have. And I would like bring it to the theater sometimes, or most of the time I just have it at the apartment. But it was always a great memory, especially during Christmas time, to just sit and have some chicken soup. It's the best.
Absolutely. So we also know that you were able to do Matilda on tour. So can you speak a little bit to the different cities on tour and what soups, were stand out and what cities they were in?
Okay, so for Matilda on tour, I was Hortensia full-time, which was different from being on Broadway because I was a swing and I covered for Hortensia and I was only on once a week. So being on stage every night, I was only in the South, in the southern states. So we were in Charlotte, North Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, and then Tampa, Fort Myers, and West Palm Beach. And what was great about being in West Palm was that my grandparents have a house there, so we were able to stay at their house. So, and it was in the middle of February. So I did have a lot of soup at my grandmother's house. And we had rice and tomatoes, yes. And not particularly in the southern states because it was so hot that I was like not into the whole soup thing. I was more into like not sweating my behind off. But I'm trying to think. I think I definitely had a chicken soup or something, but it's hard because when my mom wasn't cooking. So it was, I'm very partial. I'm very partial to my mother's cooking. So I won't eat, if something my mom makes is delicious, I'm not going to eat it out. It's like against the law. It's like eating meatballs like elsewhere.
As you should. That is a valid point. This is a big one, so get ready.
Okay.
We know that you also dabble in voiceover work. So can you show us some of your character voices? And are there any soups that inspire these voices? And lastly, are there any soups that help to keep your voice in tip-top shape?
Okay, so let me see. Her name is Darling, and she is a puppy, and she lives in like this intergalactic world, and she's pink and fluffy, and she loves ice cream. So
go ahead.
Let's see. Hi, I'm Darling. It's nice to meet you. Yeah. So Darling is very she's super bubbly and super fun, and I think that the soup that most describes her would be, I think chicken noodle. I think that's her favorite. She likes it a lot.
I feel like she would.
I haven't done that in so long.
That was great.
I'm trying to think of my other character. Oh, I do like this 9-year-old little boy, and he's like really cool too. And he's got like this little rasp, so that helps him out a lot. And yeah, I think his favorite soup would probably be tomato. He's plain. He's plain Jane.
Creamy tomato or plain tomato?
Probably a plain tomato, not a creamy one. And I don't like greens, so no greens allowed.
None here.
That was perfect. That was far past what I was expecting.
I love voiceovers so much.
That was perfect. We have time for some questions for Analise. So leave your questions down below and we will get to as many as we can. We already have a couple watching. Alicia Bartosik says, if you had to fuel your car with any soup, which would that be?
Well, fun fact, I don't drive. I don't know the first thing about driving. I don't know anything.
That's pretty
good. A golf cart. Maybe that'll be a quarantine, a pandemic activity for me to like figure out how to drive. I don't even know the first thing about it. But if I had to fuel my car with it, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Maybe gazpacho.
Ooh.
That would make it go fast. Okay.
It'll go fast. Spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ned Way says, if you had to sweat any soup, what would it be and why?
I think like a 3-bean soup.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Would the beans like come out of your pores or just the soup? Just the broth?
I think just the broth.
Okay.
And in your ideal world, is this a vegetable broth or like a chicken stock, a beef stock?
Ooh, I don't know. I think probably, I'm trying to think. I think just like a regular, like chicken.
Yeah, I love that. I kind of want to. No, I don't. I take it back.
I love
Anna Spenley says, if you had to use a soup to wash your body every day, these are creative questions.
Crazy. I love them. I'm gonna say beef barley.
Ooh. Yeah, I feel like that would be the pores.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I feel like there's that in the pores. You're right.
All right, we have time for 2 more questions. Kim Perlman says, if you could have a soup-scented candle, which soup would you choose?
Ooh.
I can't want a soup
Ooh. Pasta fazool. Delish.
Absolutely.
Delish. You could tell I'm Italian, can't you? Yeah, that's the best. Well, pronounced like pasta fagioli, but you know, I'm New York, so.
Yeah.
Fazool it is.
That's my New Year's resolution, is to walk into a room and for it to be smell of soup. That's
the candle.
Of course.
I love it.
And lastly, John Vigiano says, what soup do you want as your best friend?
Oh man. I'm trying to think. There used to be this soup that I got at Hale and Hearty. And I want to say it was 12 vegetable, but it's delicious.
They do have a
chicken pot pie soup is good too at Hale and Hearty.
I miss Hale and Hearty with all my heart.
The chicken pot pie soup at Hale and Hearty, specifically that one.
Fun fact, we had Damon Gillespie on about a month ago, and someone asked him what food he would make into a soup, and he said chicken pot pie, and we told him that already existed, and we changed it. Yeah.
I love that. It's so good. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I want some soup.
Some obligatory post-soup troop soup.
I mean, yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the last question we had for today. Sophie, do you?
So much, Analise, for being with us today. Everyone, be sure to catch her in Mrs. Doubtfire on Broadway when it returns.
We will be back.
We will.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Analise.
Bye.
Yay, that was Analise Scarpaci. If you liked her, you could follow her on Instagram down below at analise.scarpaci. She is so fun and the sweetest, and you must see her in Miss Doubtfire when we can. It is so exciting. Now, our next guest is someone very special from my high school on Long Island. We have the woman who played the understudy for Sandra and Annie in The Play That Goes Wrong on Broadway and took over the role of Annie off Broadway at New World Stages. She also is Cordelia on American Gods, which is so exciting, and you have to check that out. Please welcome Ashley Reyes.
Hey!
Welcome, Ashley.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
So, starting off, the first question that we ask every guest:
Mm.
What is your favorite soup memory?
Okay, so this is hard because I grew up good Jewish gal eating matzo ball soup. So, I mean, it's near and dear to my heart. But I will say, granted, I don't even know if I can tell this story, but to you, because we're not censoring things. Here we
No.
go.
Go ahead.
So I was a bit of a crazy teen, and which no one should underage drink, no one, but I was bad, and I did, and I woke up with a very bad hangover. My parents were furious with me, and my dad is Puerto Rican, and he was like, "Okay, well, we're going to give you our hangover soup." So this was the first time I had mondongo, which is tripe soup. So it's made with like innards, intestines, but it is a classic Puerto Rican soup. And he thought he was doing it to punish me. And so he gave it to me and I had it, and it does cure a hangover, but I loved it. So he was like, "Oh no, this like totally backfired," because he thought it was like, "I'm going to teach you a lesson." Turns out I loved it. So, and I love mondongo. It's one of my favorite things. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my God. So we know that you went to Lambda in London to study drama, and we also know that you did theater while you were there. What are the best soups at Lambda and in London? Tell us about that.
Gosh. Okay, so we had like a butternut squash at the Polish cafe next door because, you know, Lambda was super small. We didn't have a cafeteria when I was there. It does now. It's very fancy. But when I was there, we had to go to the Polish cafe next door, and they had this butternut squash soup that was like, yeah, that was my favorite.
Mm,
Wow.
that sounds delicious.
Hmm.
Oh my
At
God.
Brentwood, where we used to have soup troupe, there used to be a butternut squash soup, and at Brentwood we used to rate the soup from 1 to 5 spoons, and that always got in the 4 to 5 range.
Oh, it's so good, especially like get a little like sagey feel in there. Get some sage, make it feel really fall. You know.
Some pumpkin seeds.
Oh yeah. Oh, little drizzle of olive oil on top. Give it to me, or some creme fraiche.
Oh, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, you really can't.
So we know you're certified in stage combat. Are there any soups that make you feel fierce or ready to fight? And what soups help you in your combat journeys?
Oh, I love that. Any soups that make me feel like a spicy tortilla soup or like a black bean. You know, something that's really, it's got a punch to it.
Like a Southwest something.
Yeah, I feel like that's very like broadsword.
Yeah.
Give me like a big broadsword and shield. I'm feeling powerful, and that would be it for sure.
Wow. So our next question is a two-parter. We know that you made your Broadway debut in the hilarious play That Goes Wrong. So part 1, are there any soups, we know that show is very physical, are there any soups that had to come into play as your routine? And then secondly, obviously, is there a soup that went wrong?
Oh, yes, there is. Firstly, soups that kind of kept me going during the play That Goes Wrong. Actually, Analise mentioned Hale and Hardy. The Hale and Hardy tomato basil, I lived on it. Especially when I was first making my Broadway debut, I would be so nervous. I couldn't eat. It would like freak me out so much. I remember my Broadway debut, I didn't even know it was happening. It was just, so every time I had to go on, I had such a bad stomach. Would go to Hale and Hardy. It would be the only thing that would go down. And yeah, the tomato basil got me through. And then, what was the second question?
The soup that went wrong.
Oh gosh. I love making soup. I make lots of soups. But when I was living in Toronto filming American Gods, I was making this cauliflower puree thing. And I was just learning how to do it. And I was learning that you can't put hot soup in a blender. Can't do it unless it's a blender that's made for it. So put it in the blender, and the blender exploded. And so I had cauliflower and the stench of cauliflower all over my apartment for like weeks. So yeah, that went wrong. It's like full circle. My life.
Wow. So if we could get a scented candle, we wouldn't get cauliflower.
Absolutely.
That would be something I wouldn't recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Cauliflower is one of the most delicious and terrible smelling foods.
Yeah, just
truly. Yeah, you don't come across that quite often.
No, it's really delightful on the palate, awful everywhere else.
Mm-hmm. So we are actually going to play a little game that we like to call Soup or Not a Soup. So I'll explain the rules quickly. We are going to name 8 food items, and you will tell us whether you believe it is a soup or not a soup.
Okay.
You have to get 6 out of the 8 right to win.
Okay.
All right.
Ready?
All right, bring it on.
All right. Gazpacho.
Soup.
Correct.
Stew.
Ooh, not a soup.
Correct.
Cereal and milk.
Not a soup.
Correct.
Gumbo.
Not a soup.
It is a soup. It's a lot of seafood, but it still is a soup. It's not, combined into one conglomerated food.
Right. But if it's just one seafood item, like a lobster bisque, that's a soup. But a gumbo is when you put them all in a pot. But it's got the broth, it's got the meat. Counts as
I figured it might have been like a jambalaya sort of thing, where maybe it's not. It's like got, could have rice and stuff. So I was like, but that's a tricky one. So it is a soup. Interesting.
You're doing well.
Ramen.
Soup.
Yes.
Chili.
Not a soup.
Correct.
Pho.
Soup.
Yes.
Acai bowl.
Not a soup.
Thank you.
You've won Super You are the first ever winner of Super Not a Soup.
Really?
Yeah, this is the first time we've played, but you are the first winner.
Perfect. I'll hold the title.
Yes. All right. It is that time of the day for you to leave your questions down below for Ashley. We already have a couple rolling in. Nedway says, if you could fill a hot tub with soup, jets are on. That's important. What is the soup of your dreams to soak in?
Oh, like a coconut curry, like a ginger coconut soup.
Like a Thai soup.
Yeah. Like
forgetting the name, but
I don't remember the name.
Like a tom kha?
Exactly. I think it might be. Yes.
Yeah.
You would smell angelic.
That'd be so nice on the skin too.
Oh yeah, you'd feel amazing afterwards. It's like a moisturizer.
Absolutely. Alicia Bartosik says, it's the final callback for the play that goes wrong. Which soup is booking?
I love this. Ooh, which soup is carrot ginger. Carrot ginger. Got a zing to it. A little spicy, zingy, orange, bright, zesty. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anna Spenley says, murder mystery. What soup would be the murderer in the play that goes wrong? Dun dun dun.
Oh, this would be like a something with meat, meatballs. Something like I'm picturing meatballs, kale. There's got to be an Italian. So someone get Annalise back. Ask her what kind of I don't know what kind of soup that is. Is that like is Italian wedding the one with rice and lemon, or is that like
yes?
Yeah, something like
the little noodles.
like the little orzos?
I'm not sure if they're orzo. I've seen it with orzo and I've seen it with something else that's close to, but not exactly.
Oh, scratch that completely. Cream of mushroom.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
something. It's got a depth of flavor. It's kind of it's creamy, and it feels a little like you're kind of looking over your shoulder a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does. It really does. My favorite soup in the world is mushroom brie, which is essentially broccoli cheddar, but brie instead of cheddar and mushroom instead of broccoli. But that soup is definitely a murderer.
Oh, absolutely.
I've never had that. Someone mentioned it in the video, and I got hungry immediately. That sounds spectacular.
It is a Frenchwood's favorite.
Oh, wow. That sounds incredible.
And it used to be, they kind of did it maliciously. They used to like serve it only on like big audition days. So you had to choose if you wanted the dairy soup or if you wanted to sing well. It was kind of evil.
That's evil.
Yeah.
Evil.
The soup, it was hard to not choose the soup.
Yeah, I mean, I
Very
can't.
difficult.
This is why I just do plays. This is why I can't do musical theater. It's because I would always go for the dairy. Always.
What
time?
Yeah.
All right. Our next question is from Justin Parrish. He says, you have found the fabled fountain of youth. Notice that it is all soup. What soup do you think fills the fountain of youth?
Ooh. Like I don't know if this is considered a soup. I've seen it on MasterChef. The tortellini with like a seafood broth with like some little lobster tortellinis or something, like something delicate but flavorful and beautiful. And yeah, I think like a seafood broth with little tortellinis.
That sounds so good.
That sounds like the
I'm gonna go search for whatever that is now.
No, I'm gonna cook as soon as we're done. I'm cooking. It's soup day.
It's soup day.
Oh, yes, every day.
Kim Perlman says, we all know the bread bowl, an edible bowl to accompany the delectable soup. Thoughts on a bread spoon?
Always. I think the more bread, the better. Give me all the carbs. Give me a broccoli cheddar and a bread bowl with using that top as a spoon.
Oh.
That's innovative.
Yeah, you know how Panera gives you like the top on the side?
Yeah.
Use that. Get in there. There's your spoon. Little pro tip there.
Well, we all know what I'm doing for dinner. If you're in the Princeton area, you can find me tonight. Well, that is all the time we had left for questions. So thank you so much to everyone who questioned.
Thank you so much for being with us, Ashley.
Oh, this was a joy. Thank you so much for talking about the thing that I love as well.
Absolutely. Well, everyone at home, join me and Sophie in giving Ashley and Analise a 1, 2, 3. We're here for
you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was Ashley Reyes. You simply must follow her on Instagram at Reyes Ashley Reyes. She is absolutely wonderful, and we cannot wait to see everything that she does. For more about Soup Troupe Online, about our special guest for next week, which is very exciting, you must follow us on Instagram at Soup Troupe Official, on Facebook at Soup Troupe Official as well, and subscribe and like this video on YouTube. We are growing, and we are looking for the soup love.
Also, make sure to read more about Soup Troupe Online on BroadwayWorld.com. The link is in the description below.
We are so excited that you joined us for our 6th smash hit episode of Soup Troupe Online. This is Sophie Smith-Brody, Soup veteran. You can follow her on Instagram at Sophie Smith-Brody. I am Danny Feldman. You can follow me on Instagram at Danny Feld. And for today, I'm Danny.
I'm Sophie.
And this has been Soup Troupe Online. Join us in a 1, 2, 3. Have a
super day.
Okay, we will play you all out with a video.
Bye.
Danny.
For the sweet, sweet soup we eat at lunch all day, all week. Oh, for please feed us after lunch in that canteen. For we come together for any room. Please welcome members from every troop on every Olympics right now. Yes, for the sweet, sweet soup we eat at lunch all day, all week. Oh, for please feed us after lunch in that canteen. For we come together for any room.